You're listening to Maddi Stories, The Adventures of Maddi. Episode 4. Maddi at the football stadium. Maddi goes to the football stadium in order to watch a match between Dortmund and Paderborn. He meets a drunk fan in front of the stadium. "Hey, what's up, old man? Are you also here for the game?" "Good day. Excuse me, I perceive your manner of expression as utterly questionable." "Your denomination of myself as old man is only applicable in the case that you utilize the social norm of reference, that you compare my age with the average age of the human individuals present in this football stadium. I feel obliged to partially negate your second question. The principal reason for the localization of my person in front of the Signal Iduna Park at the present moment is the fact that I intend to conduct an investigation here. My intention is to localize the locality football stadium on a continuum between institution of socialization and institution of desocialization." 30 minutes later, the match is about to start. "Hey, the game is about to start. What do you say about the two teams?" Unfortunately, this is neither a very precise nor a very successful question. "Would you mind to specify this question slightly?" "Number 9 for Dortmund. That dude is totally awesome, isn't he? He will surely score a lot of goals this season." "I would prefer to show tolerance this time instead of criticizing your unscientific manner of expression." "There is indeed some information to mention regarding the individual addressed by you, the player with the number 9 of the first adult team of Borussia Dortmund. According to the information I received, the player addressed by you only recently found himself in a possibly problematic transitional situation. These transitions, the transfer from one youth team to the first team of a sports club, can prove to be a significant stress factor for a player, to the same extent to which the transition from one primary school to a secondary school might be considered to be utterly stressful. A cooperation between the legal guardians of the individual, as well as the affected coaching individual of the youth team and the one of the first team, has a significantly facilitating effect for a successful transition." One central transitional problem is the augmentation of the norm of reference. In the case of the individual addressed by you with the number 9 at Borussia Dortmund, one must question if and to what extent his performance achieved in the youth team, which might be considered as good, in the case of the utilization of the social norm of reference, in the case of the utilization of the evaluation scales valid in Germany, can also be classified as above the average in the first team of the same club. "Hey, old man, I saw him at the public training session yesterday. He's totally awesome." In this case, it would be inadequate to falsify the contribution uttered by you recently, due to the fact that unfortunately I did not conduct any observation of the competence tasks recently mentioned by you, the training session. If you intend to imply with your contribution that the addressed player is necessarily going to be able to deliver an above average performance in today's evaluation task, today's match, I might possibly be obliged to contradict you. You refrain from recognizing the augmentation of disruptive elements in evaluation tasks, like today's evaluation task. Disruptive factors, like the augmented volume within the exam room, have a more significant influence on the performance of the subjects to be evaluated in evaluation tasks than in competence tasks. At a football match, there is therefore the tendency that the performance shown by one individual distances itself from his real football competence in comparison with the performances shown by him in previous training sessions, due to the augmented influence of disruptive elements in evaluative situations already addressed by me. 30 minutes later, the match has started 30 minutes ago. Oh my gosh, this number 9 totally sucks. He can't even hit a barn door. In spite of your complicated manner of expression, I have the impression of having comprehended your contribution. Would you please raise your hand next time so that I can conduct a mental preparation for your upcoming contribution? In this case, on the basis of the observations of this evaluation task executed by me until this present moment, it would be adequate to analyze and critically question the behavior of the coach. I diagnose a defective diagnostic pedagogic competence of the coach of Borussia Dortmund. My conclusion on the basis of the observation of the evaluation task conducted by me at this present moment is that the promotion of the shooting competences of the addressed individual by the coach is of a high necessity. This could be achieved by means of an inductive approach within the context of group work, during which all the individuals who show a need of support in this competence domain execute the addressed shooting competence in a repetitive manner, and during which they consequently acquire awareness of their defect autonomously and independently, and make attempts at rectifying it by means of an altered corporal position before the shot. 30 minutes later, Borussia Dortmund scores thanks to a penalty. Yes, goal for Dortmund! This number 9 is totally awesome! He even scored by penalty! Before conducting a positive evaluation of this individual on the basis of the task solved by him, it would be adequate here to verify the validity, reliability, and objectivity of this exam task, the so-called penalty. First and foremost, it ought to be self-explanatory that the tasks conducted on the field by the involved individuals necessitate diverse competencies. Your denomination of the individual with the number 9 as awesome implies that your positive evaluation of the football competencies of this individual does not solely make reference to one competence, for example the competence shooting or passing, but that it refers to multiple football competencies. To which extent does a penalty serve the measurement of a general football competence? A penalty would maximally be capable of measuring the competence shooting of the executing individual. Nevertheless, empiric studies prove a considerable dependence of the performance at the penalty from additional competencies, especially the stress management competencies, due to the pressure-loaded situation of stress possibly provoked by a penalty. An advanced stress management competence is a more success-promoting factor in this category of exam task than an advanced competence in the ability shooting. Additional competencies can also be neglected with regards to a prognosis of the probability of success of an executing individual at a penalty. Due to this fact, a high success rate at penalties is not necessarily a reliable indicator for a high general football competence. Speaking of reliability, a penalty is not solely an invalid task for the determination of the competencies of the involved individuals, it is additionally not reliable. This is due to the fact that a penalty, executed multiple times by the same individual on consecutive days, will probably not always provoke the same result, success or failure, but it depends significantly on the goalkeeping competencies of the opponent's goalkeeper. In addition, the discrepancy of the observing individual's behavior on the stadium seats is too high in different matches, so that their behavior can noticeably influence the probability of success at a penalty. A penalty is merely relatively objective, due to the fact that the referee only either has the possibility to rate the penalty with a point or without any point for the executing team, depending on the complete crossing of the goal line by the ball and in more than 90% of the cases, the correct evaluation of the penalty, as successful or poor, is conductable by the referee without any ambiguity. After the final whistle by the referee, "Wow, totally awesome game by Borussia today. We beat the worst team of the league because of the penalty by the number 9, and now we are only 9 points behind Bayern." Regarding the social norm of reference, I am unable to refrain from contradicting you. The performance shown by Borussia Dortmund in today's exam was superior to the one shown by Paderborn, which is also due to the individually good performance of the individual with the number 9 at Borussia Dortmund at the exam task penalty, which was solved successfully by the mentioned individual. The factual norm of reference, however, aims at a more significant goal difference in a match between the second most capable and the least capable team of the division, in the same manner in which a 4- ought not to be satisfactory for an above-average pupil, even if another below-average pupil merely achieves a 5+. And in addition, on the basis of the individual norm of reference, today's performance of Borussia Dortmund is not satisfactory when recognizing the performances of this team in previous exams of the same half-season. I don't care, Maddi. A win is a win. Let's go. We're gonna go and get drunk in a bar. I am obliged to clarify that your blood alcohol level is already completely sufficient for the fulfillment of its purpose, the maintenance of your individual motivation for the observation of a football exam on an increased level. Before coming to an end, I would prefer to conduct an appropriate evaluation of the playing individuals of both teams and to consequently create a performance record based on the same performance evaluation, on the one hand with the purpose of the investigation of the individual performances and discrepancies of performances between the playing individuals, and on the other hand in order to record the average performances of the player bases of both teams by means of a grade average. Do whatever you want, spoil sport. I'm gonna get drunk now. The drunk fan loses control about himself in the following night, and he has to be taken to the hospital due to his excessive consumption of alcohol. Maddi does not get any sleep either due to his desire to finish his evaluation of every player's performance in the match he has observed the day before going to bed.